For former national junior squad under-21 footballer Firdaus Wang Waihung, coming to Islam seemed easy enough. He reverted to the religion when he was 22 years of age, when laying off from playing due to an injury. He tells us about his reversion.
As a Chinese, generally, we don't really consider religion is something that is very important. What's more about considering Islam as part of the religion that we want to choose? Because generally for the Chinese, Islam will be out of the list of the religion that we choose, or if let's say it was in the list, it will be at the last. You know, by the way how we look at the world, perceive Islam as. The only thing that I know about Islam is that, you know, you can marry for, you cannot drink alcohol, you cannot eat pork, you need to potong, all sort of things. This is what I know. But alhamdulillah, due to some misfortune that I faced where I injured and then I quit to play football and then I migrate to Sarawak. From there I start to think about my life, because I've been a clubber, I go to club, I drink, so that is my life. And then when I go to Sarawak, Kuching, I find peace and I start to think about my life, that I mean, what is the objective of my life? What is the purpose of my life? I mean, yeah, even a mobile phone which has no life have a purpose to serve, which is to communicate, to make communications easier. Then me as a human, what is my purpose of life? I cannot accept my life just, you know, eat, play, work, married, have children, have grandchildren, and then die. I mean, yeah, then what is the purpose? There must be a purpose that I need to serve here in this world. Then I start to think. But as a non-Muslim, Islam as always is that not really my type of coffee or tea. But end up, I go forward and ask my friends about Islam, and I say, I mean, we as a Chinese, when we worship, we saw God in front. Now, as a Muslim, as a Malay, what do you worship? And then my friends say, no, we worship God. But I say, it's weird. Seeing is believing, right? Have you ever seen Allah? I mean, you never see God. There's no God in front of you. Then he gave me an analogy which, for me, is acceptable. You see, Wong, you feel the wind? I say, yeah. Do you saw it? I say, yeah, you see? The tree, the tree is moving. And then my friend say, no, that is the effect of the wind. I silent. And then he continued and he said, can you imagine, Wong, that the wind that God created, you can't see it, but it exists, right? Yes. Can you imagine that even the wind that is created by God, you can't see it? What made you think you can see God? He exists, but you cannot see him. You can feel him. That's why you believe in God. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. And I make the decision to become a Muslim just because of this simple logic. For some other people, they might thought, I mean, how can just for a simple reason you become, hey, we can love someone for a simple reason. Why can't we believe in something for a simple reason? A simple gesture can move our heart to tears. But why we can't get this simple reason to believe there's God and there's only one God? There is. And I become Muslim because of this answer alone. Not really because I understand what is Islam. Neither do I know who is Allah or the Prophet. But I believe this is the right religion. And then when I learned about Islam, I found it fantastic. Because Allah says in Surah Al-Ikhlas, chapter 112, verse number 4, Walam yakullahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing like unto Allah. And then this is something that is the same that what my friend told. Can you see Allah? You cannot see. That's why he said nothing like unto Allah. So if we are to talk about, now close your eyes and think about Allah. You can't. There's no object. Allah is not an object. He's not a being. How can you imagine? There's nothing. There is no shape. There's no form. So he's out of time, space, and mass. So if we talk about certain things, we talk about, okay, Cristiano Ronaldo. For sure, something will come into your mind. But when you say Allah, when you say God, a lot of image. God, God, God. That's why it's special. Allah is no shape, no form. So that's how I come to Islam.
But his study and dedication to the religion happened only when he attended a talk by Ustaz Hussein Yi, who runs a center in Sungai Buloh called Pertubuhan Al-Khadim.
Based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Of course, this belief the next sees when we are not yet a Muslim. because we do not know anything about Islam. Based on the hadith, كل مولد يولد على فطرة فأبواه يحودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه.
Where do I learn my Islam? To be true that for the first 6 years after become Muslim, like lots of reward, we don't really learn. I myself don't really learn. What I have at home during the first 6 years is amazing. I only have 3 books. And that 3 books also I never read. Why I have the 3 books? Because just to tell myself, hey, you see, you have 3 Islamic books. So for me to feel good. But then, alhamdulillah, Allah SWT again gave me the guidance in 2011. My friends invite me to one place called Akadim, and he said, that scholars, he himself is a revert. He is so good. You will love him. I was like, yeah, right. It seems like, I mean, I don't believe on that. So when I went there and I listened to this man and he talked, the way he talked, very calm, very patient, very clear. And then I have a chance to interact with him directly. And he told me, the moment we become revert, you are Chinese, I'm Chinese. Do not embarrass the Chinese. Islam is a religion of knowledge. Just put it this way. Anyone call you to Islam? I said no. Can you imagine? No one call you to Islam. Then who going to save your parents, your family? If no one call you to Islam, do you think other people will call your family? Then whose job is that? Whose duty is that? Our duty, your duty, to save them. You need to learn. And this man is the man who changed my life. He's the one who inspired me. His name, I mean, he's internationally well known. His name is Sheikh Husseini, Ustaz Husseini. In Malaysia, he was known as Ustaz Husseini. He traveled all around the world. I mean, it's been a pleasure, blessing from Allah that I'm able to meet this great man. I mean, he inspired me a lot to learn more, to learn more, to learn more, to learn more. And he asked me never tired to learn. Even though until the day we die, the most important thing is that he tell me 4 things. First, we need to have knowledge. After we have the knowledge, we need to understand. The moment we understand, we need to practice it. After we have practiced it, spread it out. Then this will be a beneficial knowledge.
A large part of Wong's work is an organization called Multiracial Muslim Malaysia, formerly called Malaysia's Reverted Muslim, housed in a building in the Kuala Lumpur suburb of Wangsa Maju. It is through this organization that he does his missionary work, such as organizing classes and lectures for reverts and whoever else keen to learn more about Islam. At the moment, Malay Muslim NGOs are claiming that Islam is under threat and have come up with all sorts of statements and protests, some rather threatening. Has the current anti-non-Muslim rhetoric made his work as a Muslim preacher of Chinese descent difficult?
There's one thing of which there's no doubt. Allah knows. Allah knows.
For me, my statement is always very consistent. What I wrote in my Facebook is very consistent. That I say that if they would like to do anything, okay, just say this is their own action. Don't put Islam as an excuse to justify your action. Whichever individual, movement or NGO who do something that is going against Islamic teaching, a thought their NGO are being associated with Islam, that still doesn't justify that this is Islamic teaching. That is their own action. So don't make Islam with individual action. We need to separate that. But sadly, this is what we are using Islam, sadly, to say that to serve our own agenda and purpose. But yet we are saying that this is the threat, this is a threat. Yet of course, like what you asked just now, that the Christianizations and so on. Now, we put that Christianizations apart. We are talking about the Christian have the agenda. Let's put it in a fair way, that every religion have their own agenda. Did Islam have agenda? Yes, we have. The question is, do we really work on the agenda that Islam has set for us? Allah says, cool, go and preach. Have we preached? We haven't preached, but yet we want to create trouble. No, every religion have their agenda. Yes, what other religion do is not really what our concern, but we should be more concerned about what we should do for Islam itself. Because end of the day, Allah will ask us what we have done for Islam. We will be accountable for that. I mean, what they are doing, yes, we have government to deal with that. We don't talk about that, but we just do with what we should do individually. We don't put the blame on, no. All this thing is the job of the authority. It's not us. It's the ulama, it's a scholar, it's a ustad, it's those who are learned. No. When the Prophet say, convey from me even the one ayat, even the one verses, the Prophet didn't put the terms and conditions there that convey from me even with the one verses if you are ulama scholars. No, the Prophet doesn't say. We as a Muslim, we need to convey that. So we don't want to go into to start blaming people. I mean, put it into an analogy. We own a farm. Our neighbors own another farm. And yet our neighbors are working at their farm every day. And then they gain, and then their farm, they can reap the harvest from that, and then they can, earn a lot from there. Then we're complaining, how can they work so hard, man? They're working on their farm. They cannot do so. And yet we don't work on our farm. So we blame them. Why? They need to work on their own farm. They need to feed. Where else? We have our own farm. We don't work on our own farm. It's the same thing. They have their agenda. We have our agenda. Do we really work on our agenda? We really need to focus on what Islam has set for us in this world. Sometimes we need to do preaching. We need to do outreach. We need to communicate more. A lot of misunderstanding is due to we don't really understand each other. If we close the door as a Muslim for others to understand Islam, then when will they really truly understand Islam? We want people to understand Islam and to respect us, but yet, sorry to say, sometimes we as a Muslim, we don't really practice what Islam taught us. Therefore, the one who really tarnish the image and reputation of Islam, I would say sometimes coming majority from us as a Muslim. The actions that we put on is not really Islamic. We go and threaten people. We're always talking about race. We highlight race a lot. But Islam never says so. So there's something that we need to ponder together.